Hi, my friends, I'm Ixim, and today I'm starting my practice a card a day. Although a little bit different from the well known tarot guidebook. I did pick up the activity from this guidebook, but I'll be doing it a little bit different. Anyway, in the guidebook, it asks you to each morning or each day to shuffle the deck and ask, what do I need to focus on? And look at the card. You just pick up a card and sort of focus on the card and let the card speak to you instead of right away try to find the answers in the guidebook or in the poster that comes with the deck. I decided to do it a little bit different because I like to do things different. Anyway, I'm going to be journaling and I'm going to be doing it in a different time or whenever I can. So I decided to start with the major arcana. So I'm going to start with the zero. And for me, the zero is always nothing and everything, right? Because the zero, it doesn't have nothing, but then you complete the 10, the 20 with the zero. So it's completion also. So it has nothing, but it has everything. So that I always connect that with the zero. And then if you look at the picture, the bird is stepping out of the branch, one foot out. So there is that sense of that feeling, maybe not scared, but a little bit like, vulnerable. Is that the word? Is that the right way to say it? Anyway, feeling a little bit, like scared, to make that first step. So that's what I get. And the guidebook talks about innocence. And so I can sense that innocence about beginning the journey. And then we have over here the colors. And the yellow obviously talks about the sun. But to me also is connected with divinity and receiving that guidance from above. And then the red for me is the passion. That you begin your journey or your projects or that idea with that passion, right? And then the branch, and then the little flowers are white, and the white is purity, innocence, connected with the whole, car, that you beginning, that you have no experience, or that you have not make, you don't have fears or doubts. You might be a little scared to begin, but you don't have fears and doubts, and maybe you do. I do feel like starting my new journeys, I do have fears and I do have doubts. But in these cars and Tim, in terms of the fool, he's just beginning. So we're going to say that maybe he is, maybe he's not. Well, I'm getting to that contemplation right now. That to me, in this car, it does seem like he has a little bit of fear. So I'm changing my mind. So I'm getting some reflection already. So that is wonderful. Another thing that I wanted to do with this deck is while I'm doing my card a day, compare this card with the other cards. And so when I was doing other decks and other cards, for me the Fool was never scared, never worry about past experiences because that's the way that I learned it. And so I'm getting the realization now that in this deck, in this card, I have a different point of view, or I'm getting a different message. And it is a point with what I'm feeling. So I'm connecting with this card because I'm experiencing the fear and the doubts or beginning my journey. But I never really associate that with this card, with my experience with other decks or with other cards, just because of what I read. Let's say when I read about the Fool and the Rider-Waite, he was just so free, and you can see that he doesn't care about what's going on. So basically, this card talks about being free to step down into a state of consciousness, or a new idea, or a new project, or to the things that can be unknown, right? But then this card for me, what I'm getting anyway, is different. So that's what I wanted to do this activity, but I wanted to do it differently because I already have 4 decks that I've been working with them very deeply so I can make connections with it. So this is the Rider-Waite. and this is the Fool. And for me, that's sort of the difference, the free sort of like aspect of I don't care, I know everything is gonna be fine, and just sort of like getting in there. And over here, a sense of I'm just starting, and this is more me than this one at this moment. So anyway, then I have this card. This is come from the thought. I'm not saying it right, and I know, but this is the thought deck, and this is the Fool. And for me, this card talks about being open and ready to that new beginning, to that new experience. So it's a complete different feeling in this car, and he's just so happy and so open to receive the new experience. So different. And then the next car has a little bit of nudity because it's from the Mary El Tarot. So if you don't agree with that, you can stop the recording right now. And so this is I'm sorry, this is the Fool from the Mary El Tarot. And for me, this one talks more about a mental aspect of an idea fighting through, come about. So sort of like the butterfly, the transformation, the ideas of transformation and change to begin to be more of yourself, or to change yourself, or to grow, or to evolve. These ideas, these feelings, these essence of beginning comes with speed and really wants to break through our fears and our doubts and our sense of everyday life. Wants to cut and come through and be. So this card is one of my favorites. It's so beautiful. But as you can see, it has force, and it has speed, and it has depth. So for me, this one is more sort of like a mental idea, mental or a feeling, just coming through. But it's more mental for me. And it has some gray, although you can't really see it. And it has some blue, and it has, anyway, lots of colors. But it has a lot of force with it. So this is the comparison, and at this point I know I'm more relating with this car and a little bit of doubt and fear and not being sure, but this is beautiful. I already like this. I already like this activity, and my friends, I invite you to be with me in this journey of self-exploration and discovery. Thank you for watching, and bye.